Hi everybody, Adrian H. Nelson here of AHN Great Life. I trust you are all doing beautifully well. I hope you are. I just wanted to very quickly explain to you how NLP kind of fits in with hypnosis, the hypnosis that I do. NLP, of course, being Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And there's a reason why I wanted to explain is because sometimes people get a little bit of a misunderstanding of how NLP fits into holistic soul hypnosis. Okay, so NLP is really, in a very condensed, basic nutshell, it is the understanding of how the human mind works, how we process information, and how we recall information. And I find this to be very helpful in hypnosis, and I will tell you exactly why. Because in the consultation that we have, prior to your session, you obviously, or I'd obviously like to determine why did you decide to have the hypnosis session, what are you hoping to gain from it, what is your understanding of it. But also, the way that NLP fits into it, it's not only to reshape your mind, or your subconscious mind rather, in ways that serve you best, but it's also in doing it in a way that will benefit you best, all right? And the way that that works is that everybody's mind doesn't work the same. And I remember when I was a very young boy, when I kind of grasped this, it's like it's more than a light bulb moment, it's like light bulbs, that just happened for me. And the way that it happened is we had kind of like when color televisions just became a thing in South Africa, and I'm talking about many years ago now, like 20 plus years ago. You used to get like these bubble televisions long before flat screens. And for those of you who might not know, or have never known a bubble television, it had this big back and then everything was built into it, so they were not always flat screens. But so it did this funny color thing that was running across the screen. And I'm one of those people, I can look at something, so I'm very visual. I can look at something and I will get how it works, and I'll be able to recall it from the picture. And that's also how I recall memories, so if I maybe recall, and I'm normally able to recall information quite vividly, I've always been able to, but the way that I do that, or the way that my mind does that, is because I will get a picture of the day that it happened, and I will remember exactly what the person wore. Like, for example, if I recall the memory of making this video today, I will remember this headphones, I will remember, that I looked at my fingers like this, I will remember the jersey that I wore, I remember the wall at the back, and there's many other things that's happening inside the room and that's happening around me. And so if I look around, I'm not, going to show you everything, but when I look around and I recall the memory, even though I recall this part here right now, and I recall what I've been saying, the way that I recall what I've been saying is by recalling everything that happened around me. So I'll remember this, what I'm saying, my words, that's what I will remember. But the way that my mind recalls it is by what's happening around me. So I've got a very visual way of recalling things. So we've got different ways of recalling things. Some people think in pictures, some people think in sounds, some people think in emotions. So coming back to the bubble television, so when my sister, I've got two sisters, so when the older sister decided to take this television apart and see what's happening inside, I remember I walked into the room and she gave me a very clear instruction. She said to me, don't move anything, because if you do, I will not be able to recall where or how to put it back together. And then obviously I moved like 2 or 3 things and she was totally confused. And she couldn't put it back together, and I tried to do it myself, and I just got a horrible electric shock because I didn't know that those insides of television still, retain some electrical power. Now I do. There's a reason why the sticker says don't pull it away. But the way that NLP is applied, or rather how it helps to enhance the hypnotic experience. And when I say enhance, I mean when I do the induction, I personally don't just have a one size fits all, So for certain people, I would focus a lot on, the feeling of the breath on your skin and whatever, the warmth on your skin, things like that, But for example, if somebody is more visual, then in the induction I would speak a lot more about light. I'll maybe speak about colors, So it just really depends on how your mind processes information. And the one thing that I really just want to clear out is because I think this is where the misunderstanding comes in. It's not about controlling your mind or controlling you as a person. It is about having an understanding how your mind processes information best. Okay, because then first of all, when we do the induction, and the induction being, just in case you don't know, where you are being placed in the hypnotic state, we will use words and terms and visualizations that your mind will associate with best. Which means literally we're saving time with the induction so we get more time in the hypnotic state. But also whilst you're in the hypnotic state, the way that you recall information, because we work with the subconscious mind. So we need to, whether you are doing age regression, as I said before, where you're just really recalling all the information in this life, from this point we are right now, all the way back to the point of conception, whether it's in a past life regression, whether it's in a life between lives, where you're in the soul plane. The way that you recall information, the way you do it from somebody else, is not always the same. It's usually different. So depending on how you recall that information is how I will then set the questions to you. Because that is how you will best recall it, that's how you quicker recall it. And really just to the whole long and short of everything is how do we go about getting the best out of your session? How do we go about making it the most beneficial session for you? Because if we work, and obviously we work together, and I always say this to people, I'm the one who does the induction and you're the one who's being induced, but we are really working together. And in a way, I also go into that hypnotic state, and also connect to my higher self, which is beautiful. And that is why I love these sessions so much, because I just kind of take this journey with you. And I think the one thing that is the most amazing thing to me, and this is something also that a lot of NLP practitioners would often, agree with, is that when you walk into the office, practice room, wherever we're going to have our session, or when I first meet you, my sessions are 4 hours long. The great thing that I know is that by the end of these 4 hours, your life will have improved in such beautiful ways, and it happens so easily and it happens so effortlessly. And that is the amazing part about it. And that is what I love about incorporating NLP into hypnosis. Hypnosis on its own is already, it is beyond amazing. It is beyond incredible. I mean, it's been around for more than 6,000 years, So it's not this new or this new age kind of concept. It's in fact, it's rather old, it's rather ancient, and it's rather magical. And the thing with NLP is that not only does it help you, or does it help me to be able to communicate with you best and help you to communicate back to me best. So not only in that way do you benefit, but also with future life progression, where we go forward to make sure that we build for you together the future that you would like to have, that's going to be in your best interest and your best benefit. This is where NLP is just beautiful, because we will place the information in your subconscious mind in a way that it understands or grasps it best, in the way that it operates at an optimum. And so that is just what I wanted to explain to you. and to just make you also understand it's not mind control. It is not manipulation. It is just how does your logic work, you know? How do you recall information? How do you best absorb information? If you want to take, for example, you know that green block called oasis that you put in the water, and then you put the flowers in it, and then you know, so it's almost like, how does your oasis best absorb water? And then also, once it absorbs the water and we're putting the flowers inside, which is the suggestions, how are the flowers going to best benefit? How are they going to get this water coming out? And that is also how you can really look at the conscious and the subconscious mind ratio, with the oasis obviously being the subconscious mind, you know, that absorbs the water, that and then the water is being fed to the flowers, which is the conscious mind, which is what we see. You know, so how does the oasis serve flowers best? If you want to call it like that. Or even a simpler or a different example is, if you take a pot plant, you know, you get different plants and they absorb the water in different ways. So, you know, depending on whether this plant is planted into the ground, in the soil outside, or you know, if it's a smaller pot or a bigger pot or flower pot, you know, or whatever it may be, what do you put in this soil? You know, how much water are you going to put in there? Are you going to place it in the sun? Does it need a more shadowy kind of place? Will it get a lot of wind? Do you need to put in like a windshield next to it? Do you need to add anything to add nutrients to the soil, or will the plant just need the water and be absolutely fine? So you can look at that soil as your subconscious mind. How do you condition the subconscious mind so that the plant, which is your conscious mind and your experience of life, will benefit best and will benefit most? And that is really the long and short of it. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you all have a beautiful day. Thanks so much. Namaste.